Back at it here on the Too Deep NFL podcast, proudly brought to you by our friends at Gann Asphalt and Concrete, nationally recognized full-service paving and pavement maintenance contractor, making parking lot problems disappear since 1994. Free consultations, no commissions, in-house crews. Every project comes with a written warranty. You can find them online at GannAsphalt.com. It is time to go through our tiers. No, not the tears that will be shed by the teams that have no hope already. We're talking about our quarterback tiers. We break it down 6 tiers. Where does your quarterback fit? We answer that question right now on the Too Deep NFL podcast.
You're listening to the Too Deep Podcast, the most complete analysis of the National Football League, breaking down the NFL like no one else can. Too Deep is hosted by Jeff Chadiha, Eric Eager, and Soren Petro. Jeff Chadiha is a senior columnist and on-air personality for the NFL Network and NFL.com. Eric Eager is the vice president of research and development for Sumer Sports. Soren Petro was the afternoon drive host of the program on Sports Radio 810 WHB in Kansas City. Too Deep is proudly brought to you by Gann Asphalt and Concrete, Kansas City's nationally recognized full-service paving and pavement maintenance contractor, making parking lot problems disappear since 1994. Free consultations, no commissions, in-house crews, and every project comes with a written warranty. Find them online at GannAsphalt.com or call 816-484-3338. Gann Asphalt and Concrete, one contractor, all things parking lot. Gann Asphalt and Concrete is now hiring for all positions: project manager, dump truck drivers, operators, and crew members. Starting pay up to $30 per hour based on experience, with paid time off and insurance, just to name a few of the benefits. Check out GannAsphalt.com for more info. Now, here are the hosts of the Too Deep Football Podcast, Jeff Chadiha, Eric Eager, and Soren Petro.
That's right. It's time to break them down. The quarterback tiers. 6 tiers is our plan. Eric, did you fit yours into 6 tiers? Or did you go rogue again and say, I'm going to do 12 tiers, 15 tiers? What'd you do?
There are 6 tiers.
There are 6 tiers?
All right. Yes. I'm paying attention. I'm trying.
It is. No, it's not a matter. You're just, like I said, a maverick in the industry. And so we just, can't be contained. You're a wild stallion, Eric, is what you are. All right, 6 tiers. We're going to go top to bottom. We agreed, right? Like top to bottom. So we'll go tier 1 down. Eric, why don't you lead us off? Because I got a sneaking suspicion that tier 1's a small one for you.
Yeah, there's only one quarterback in tier 1. He plays for the Chiefs. His name's Patrick Mahomes.
And why is he alone by himself?
I think it does. I think it does a disservice to put other players in his tier.
That's the criteria. Huh?
That's it.
Party of one.
Party of one.
I mean, I think that like Joe Burrow and Josh Allen are closer to Kyler Murray, Deshaun Watson, Justin Herbert, and the guys that I would put in another tier than they are to Pat. So,
okay. I'll go next. And we'll because Jeff usually takes the lead, so I'll let him digest it all first, and he can come in and knock us out of the park. I thought about the Patrick Mahomes solo. I do think he's the best player. If we were ranking him, he'd be number 1 on my list. But I think there are 2 other guys that really lift and carry their teams. 2 and 2 only, and you could make it a list of 2, I suppose. But I'm going to go with all 3. I've got Patrick Mahomes, Joe Burrow, and Josh Allen as tier number 1. They've all won playoff games, although certainly, Burrow and Mahomes have been to, and Mahomes winning Super Bowls. Josh Allen hasn't been able to do that, but he's won playoff games. I think they are guys that physically lift and carry their teams. And Aaron Rodgers may have been in this list. Tom Brady, obviously retired, no longer on the list, but there are other guys that were capable of that. There's nobody else that I think has proven they can do it, and I still think can do it and will do it. Yet I think there are people. I've got a big group of people that I think could join this list or have the potential to join this list. But I really think there's only 1 or 2 of them that'll ever get here. I think tier 1 is a franchise quarterback, a guy you can count on, a guy that's worth giving a giant chunk of your salary cap to, and that you think you can still win. There will be many other guys paid, already is many other guys paid in the same stratosphere as Patrick Mahomes. They don't belong there if their names aren't Burrow and Allen, in my opinion. So I've got Mahomes, Burrow, and Allen in tier 1. Jeff, where do you sit?
Well, I'm probably the most optimistic of the three of us then, because I've got 5 on my
Wow.
list. And different criteria than what Eric's applied, or even you apply. I looked at it like a franchise quarterback, carry your team, can win an MVP or has won an MVP, and can win a Super Bowl or has won a Super Bowl. And so that gives my list probably a little more weight, a little more inclusivity than you guys have. So obviously Mahomes is on that list. Joe Burrow, Josh Allen. Aaron Rodgers is there because he's going to the Hall of Fame. He's had one bad year that was partly because of injuries, partly because of supporting cast, but I think he will rebound. He won 2 MVPs in a row before last year. That to me is Eric already like.
You all right, Eric? Are you
ready for the door?
I'm already like ready to leave because I can't believe that there are people that are putting other people in the Mahomes tier besides Mahomes. But this is how much.
The best way, and Jalen Hurts, by the way, is on the rest of my list. But I look at it as if you're starting a franchise and you have to pick a quarterback in the NFL, there's other guys that you can put on that list besides Patrick Mahomes. Like, he'd be the first you would take, but he's not the only one.
If like I guess what's the objection there, Eric? Because if Patrick Mahomes was 5 for 5 in winning Super Bowls, then I would say, yeah, absolutely. You can't even mention anybody in his realm. I mean, like I hear the Aaron Rodgers, Chadiha, Jeff did, and this is why you have multiple people rank something, and then maybe we'll give it a we'll come up with our consensus on what the tiers look like when we're done with this. But like he did more of a career achievement award type thing. Rodgers has been there and done that. I don't think he's got it within him to be up on this level anymore. But Jalen Hurts almost beat Mahomes. Matt Stafford won a championship on Patrick Mahomes' watch. Like, why are you so sold on there can be only one guy?
There's one quarterback in the salary cap era that has won a Super Bowl when making more than 13% of his team's salary cap, and that is Mahomes. Every single other quarterback, you have to ask the question. Josh Allen, the question is, once they paid him and this roster starts to atrophy, can he win a Super Bowl? Joe Burrow, hey, once the Bengals start paying Higgins, Chase, and Burrow $100 million of the $240 million cap, when that'll happen, can he win? Every single other one.
Is the answer no? Then is that what you're saying?
The answer is until I see somebody slay the dragon the way that Pat does in every. Patrick Mahomes has like a better record when trailing by 10 at any point in the game as any of these people do normally.
I will say, for the mathematics guy in the mix, you're the most all over the place on your criteria that I've ever heard.
No, every way you slice the data, Mahomes is better than all these people. Every way.
Nobody's arguing that, though.
I'm fine with that, but in one sense, you said you're projecting that these guys won't be able to do it when they make what Patrick Mahomes makes. So you're doing a projection and saying, oh yeah, they might do it on the rookie contract, but they can't do it when they're paid at that level, which seems unfair. And by the way, Matt Stafford,
how is it unfair? None of these guys.
I'm going to explain to you. Let me finish. Matt Stafford carried like a $20-something million hit, plus the Rams were carrying $20+ million of cap write-off of Jared Goff. Basically, their quarterback position was a $40 million
and they would have gotten bent over by the Chiefs if the Chiefs made that Super Bowl. So yeah, And then again, to finish my thought that I had going about you being all over the place, in some ways you're projecting, in other ways, it's like supposed to be, well, who has done it? Well, how do you project? You project using the historical data. That's so the only player that the only player in the NFL to do what I said is Mahomes. Everybody else, the prior is they can't do it. That's my whole point.
Why isn't Matt Stafford on the list? He's done it.
Yeah.
Well, Matt Stafford's not as good as Mahomes. Like Matt said, like of the players who are even close to Mahomes' stratosphere, they've all had help. And Pat, last year they traded away literally his best target, and he won.
So Mahomes hasn't had help. He hadn't had
not the same kind of help
in the history of football.
I mean,
one of the greatest offensive minds in the history of football.
There are levels. Pat has worn a road jersey in the playoffs one time, and it was to win a Super Bowl against the Eagles. My guy has hosted 5 straight AFC Championship games. gone to 3 Super Bowls, won 2 MVPs, and again did so making more money as a percentage of the cap than anybody in the NFL has ever won a Super Bowl. Like he's in a class by himself.
Technically, he's worn a road jersey twice because they played the Bucs in Tampa in the Super Bowl, and he got destroyed in that game. He played great, but if we're going to cite all the facts, and Philly was actually a neutral game. That game wasn't played in Philadelphia. It was a Super Bowl. It wasn't a home game for him, but it was a neutral game.
Okay, sorry, Petro. He's worn a white jersey in a playoff game once,
which some people would say yes. And how do we know he can win on the road? He's no Tom Brady. Like we can't put him alone by himself because he hasn't proven that he can win a playoff game on the road. Some people would use that against him.
Yeah, I'm more of the hey, you're winning 12 games and hosting every playoff game because of how brilliant you are the entire 12 months of the year. But yes, I look, if you want to be unreasonable, that's one way they can.
I guess a better way to ask the question: if you applied our criteria, Soren's or mine, would you have a bigger list?
Yeah, for sure. On my second list.
All right.
Yeah. Okay. So we'll get to maybe the second list. We'll get caught up, and we'll have the same group of guys in the first 2, and it'll look a lot more easy. I have no problem. I'm going to be clear. I have no problem with Mahomes being on a tier on his own, right? Like I really don't. It's the vociferous. Yeah, well, yeah. The pomp is like I can't believe anybody would even be considered. Like
or that no one can even do it.
Yeah, and Joe Burrow has a winning record against Patrick Mahomes.
Oh yes, you can. We're happy for Cincinnati. We're happy for Joe. We're happy for Joe Burrow and the Cincinnati Bengals, whose legacy right now is keeping the Chiefs from 4 straight Super Bowl appearances. We're very happy for them.
I just we're picking the facts that matter, I guess, on this one. All right, let's go to tier 2. You seem to be the spirited one, so let's let you lead the way on tier 2 again, Eric. What do you got for tier 2?
Tier 2 includes 3 quarterbacks that I am confident would be good even if circumstances were to be perturbed a significant amount, and that is Joe Burrow, Josh Allen, and Lamar Jackson. Those are the tier 2 players for me.
Wow. Jalen Hurts and Aaron Rodgers was like, what in the world is going on here?
Yeah. So do you want to react to that one, Jeff?
Yeah. I mean, I just don't understand. Like, I guess I don't understand the criteria at all with Eric. I think he's creating a different list than you or I are creating based on how this is going. Either this tier 3 is going to have like 20 players in it, or we're just kind of. I think Eric's doing who are the best players in the NFL, best quarterbacks in the NFL list, and I'm doing a list of who are guys who I think fall into this category. Based on what they've done, based on what they've shown, based on what they might do going forward. So I respect what he's saying. That those are all good quarterbacks. I just don't understand how is Aaron Rodgers not one of in the top 2 tiers of any list you're putting on quarterbacks? Or Aaron
Rodgers was ass last year, fellas. Like this is we did like. Are we sure we saw this? Aaron Rodgers had a home game against Jared Goff and Jets Lions to make the playoffs and threw like 3 interceptions to someone named Kirby Joseph. Like Aaron Rodgers' time has passed by.
Didn't we have this with Tom Brady like 4 years ago when he was living in New England? It turned out okay for Tom Brady.
Yeah.
After he left New England.
Yeah. Okay. I need to see somebody wear a Jets uniform and play good quarterback before I believe it, though. Yeah.
Or even Peyton Manning. He left Indianapolis. He was supposed to be done. Yeah. Neck injury. He did okay for himself.
Actually, the difference between Brady and Manning when they left their first team and Rodgers is Brady still made the playoffs at 12-4, whereas Rodgers got swept by the Detroit Lions and didn't make the playoffs last year.
All right, so I do want to be clear. There's a theme here that like one off year and you're out.
Yeah, that's what it sounds like.
I'm saying that I have Rodgers in another tier where I think he fits in well.
Okay.
You do realize that you start putting these players and the company around them says more about the player than the actual tier you put them on.
Mm-hmm. If you were starting a team today, you would pick Mahomes, Burrow, Allen, Jackson. I think you wouldn't pick anybody else.
No, Jalen Hurts would not be on that list.
I think. Well, can we get to my tier 3 so I can explain my tier 3?
No, you'll wait your turn. Wait your turn, for God's sake. Jeff, do you want to rebut his tier 2?
My tier 2, and I'm going to give my criteria before I do every tier, so I'm not going to fall in the trap Eric falls into here. MVP ability needs help to win a Super Bowl. So I don't think these guys can go do the things that Mahomes or Aaron Rodgers, Joe Burrow, what those guys can do when they're really up against it. They need to have some good things around them for it to work, but they can have MVP years. So Lamar Jackson, Justin Herbert, Deshaun Watson, Dak Prescott, Matthew Stafford. That's my tier 2.
Okay, Lamar Jackson, Justin Herbert, Deshaun Watson, Dak Prescott, and Matt Stafford. I need a little help around them to make it happen. That makes sense to me. I get it. All right. I'll go with my tier 2, and then Eric can rip us apart. My tier 2, I called you can win a Super Bowl, right? Like these are the guys that I think, you can win a Super Bowl and you don't have to be like the 85 Bears around them to get it done, right? Like you don't, or just dripping with Hall of Famers on offense. These guys can win you a Super Bowl. And my list is a little bit longer than you guys. I've got Aaron Rodgers, I've got Jalen Hurts, and Jalen Hurts was my toughest decision to not put up into tier 1. But I kind of want to see it a second time. Like I'm not going to kick Aaron Rodgers to the curb because he had one off year, the first year that he didn't have, his binky with Devontae Adams. So I'm going to give him a shot to bounce back here with the Jets. So I keep him in there. But Jalen Hurts was a really tough one. Tough one to put on this list was Justin Herbert because he's really done nothing. He blew his playoff lead. So putting Justin Herbert here, well, this was the toughest one to put on there. Let's save a guy for the end. I've got Dak Prescott. I'm not huge on Dak. Dak almost got bumped down to number 3, but I think he's a little bit more than my third tier. Matt Stafford, if he's healthy, Lamar Jackson, Trevor Lawrence. I think Lawrence belongs in this. You come back the way he did. I've always said I think he's more Matt Ryan than he is Mahomes. I don't think he's going to be a true franchise quarterback. I think you're always going to have to be really good around him and very well coached, but I think he belongs on that list. And then I've got one more name. Can you guess what other name is in tier 2? That's going to drive Eric crazy.
Tua Tagovailoa.
Tua Tagovailoa. Tua, third in QBR last year. You put some weapons, to Jeff's point, around him. Listen, I don't like that he doesn't stay healthy, and so if you ding him a tier or 2 because of that, I'm fine with that. I would have no argument. I have no rebuttal for it. But if he's healthy, I think the man can spin it. I think he can quarterback a football team, and I think you can definitely win a championship if he's healthy, which is a giant if. And so on rankings, he'd be at the bottom down there, probably just in front of Herbert right now, because I think he's Herbert's had everything he needs and hasn't gotten it done to this point. Tua's a little bit more of the unknown because we haven't seen him in the playoffs yet because he was hurt last year. But I'll put Tua in there. So I've got a pretty extensive. I've got 8 quarterbacks in there. Trevor Lawrence.
That's a big tier 2.
Matt Stafford, Dak Prescott, Tua Tagovailoa, Justin Herbert, Jalen Hurts, and Aaron Rodgers. That's my tier 2.
Yeah.
Want to blow it up, Eric?
No, you guys just have you guys' second tier is kind of like my third tier.
Okay. Well, since you've named so few quarterbacks, yeah.
But don't you love how Eric has not give us one criterion on how he's put this list together? Aside from saying Mahomes
tier
won
one
a championship,
is everything everywhere all at once. That's who Mahomes is. Tier 2 is almost Mahomes. Tier 3 is can win
almost Mahomes.
Tier 3
wish they were Mahomes.
Franchise guy would pay a contract to, but there's always going to be something, right? Okay, is that a good criteria?
Okay,
it's better than the first two. These are the guys: Murray, Watson, Herbert, Hurts, Stafford, Rodgers, Lawrence, Prescott. I would pay any of those players.
Let's give people a chance to digest that. Let me go down the list again. I've got your list here. Kyler Murray, Deshaun Watson, Justin Herbert, Jalen Hurts, Matt Stafford, Aaron Rodgers, Trevor Lawrence, Dak Prescott.
All guys who have and probably should have a veteran quarterback contract, but who I'm never going to bet to win a Super Bowl. That doesn't mean they're not going to win one. Stafford, of course, but I'm not going to walk up and be like, well, Justin Herbert's the quarterback of the San Diego Chargers. They're always a Super Bowl contender. Same thing with Prescott. Same thing with Stafford. Same with Hurts. That's where I'm at.
Okay. All right. I'll go next.
That's the most sensible list he's had so far. I'll say that. It took 3 tiers to get there,
Mahomes,
but at least it's making more sense.
Mahomes, franchise quarterback.
Yeah.
Okay.
3 tiers.
Okay. All right. I hear what you're doing there. All right. My tier 3, I call game managers. If you're going to get there, you're going to need, these are guys that are going to need probably the 85 Bears around them, right? They're going to have to be just locked and loaded all around to get it done. But, there is a path to get there. The Joe Flacco run could happen if they got red hot. Jared Goff of the Detroit Lions, Jimmy Garoppolo of the Las Vegas Raiders, Derek Carr from the Saints, Geno Smith from Seattle, Kirk Cousins, Minnesota, Daniel Jones of the Giants, Russell Wilson of the Denver Broncos, Deshaun Watson, the Cleveland Browns, and Brock Purdy with the 49ers. I think Purdy looks like a game-managing type quarterback, but I don't see the upper elite level. In fact, I'm not sure why they're running from Trey Lance so fast to Brock Purdy in San Francisco, because I don't think Trey Lance played that bad, and I think he's a little more upside. But Purdy's a solid game manager if that's what you want. So Goff, Garoppolo, Carr, Smith, Cousins, Jones, Wilson, Watson, Purdy.
You think Deshaun Watson is just a game manager based on the entirety of his career, or based on where he is now?
I do, because I think he's somewhat damaged goods. I think he had it better in Houston than people want to give credit for. I think if Bill O'Brien makes Mac Jones look pretty good this year, we're going to go, oh, you know what? Maybe he was pretty good. He had DeAndre Hopkins. He had a go-to receiver. He didn't have a bad environment in Houston, and he won nothing in the playoffs, really. Right? One playoff win against backup Raiders quarterback. Wasn't that?
No, it was, they beat Buffalo at home.
Yeah. Can you name another skill weapon he had aside from DeAndre Hopkins during his time in Houston?
Kiki Kute.
Will Fuller was pretty good.
Yeah, Will Fuller when he's healthy.
When he's healthy, yeah, for the 4 games he played.
Chiefs legend Carlos Hyde rushed for 1,000 yards for them.
Yeah. Well, there you go.
Yeah, there you go.
He did have Laramie Tunsil. He had a premier left tackle to protect him. I might be wrong. I'll be happy to move him up next year if he goes and does something. Yeah. But I'm not so sure that we're going to ever see the best of what he was.
Look, I can understand putting him there based on what he did last year, because you don't know how he's going to respond moving forward after 2 years. I'm not killing the pick. I'm just saying I wouldn't call him a game manager. I think he's a wild card. Your tier 3, I'll go now, because your tier 3 is pretty close to mine, except for Deshaun.
But can I just say this on Deshaun Watson? So you didn't object to Deshaun Watson in tier 3 for Eric, mostly because of, in your mind, the lunacy of tiers 1 and 2.
Eric's fair.
My tiers
we're way off the rails there. If he says anything that makes sense for the rest of this 40 minutes we got left here, I'll be impressed. Yeah.
No, I understand, Eric. But I think the fact that I labeled them game managers, that's what you object to. You think he's more than a game manager.
I think he's more than a game
manager. Okay. All right. Your tier 3?
Here, my tier 3, these are guys who can get you to the playoffs. Can't win your championship, like Eric said. I think we're very similar on that view of it. But these are guys who I think can't get you the big game without a ton of help around you. So Kirk Cousins, Derek Carr, Russell Wilson, Geno Smith, Jimmy Garoppolo, your Tua Tagovailoa, Daniel Jones, Kyler Murray, Trevor Lawrence, Jared Goff. The controversial one here, Justin Fields. I'm betting a lot on Justin Fields.
Oh, my Lord.
A huge leap in the next year or two. So
I now reserve the right to mute Jeff Chadiha whenever he gets on Eric Eager, because he just put Justin Fields in tier 3.
Thank you. Because
go ahead. Yeah.
So there is some interesting. So I actually have, even though Murray's in my tier 3 is a better collection of players than Jeff in your tier 3, right? Because they're like game manager guys. So you think Murray's a game manager? You think that?
No, I don't think that. That's Soren.
I'm
saying guys who can make the playoffs with.
So you think Murray's a Cousins Carr type?
Yeah, I think he can get you to the playoffs, but he's not going to win you a championship.
Okay. I think Murray could. Like, that's like the difference maybe is
To
like.
win you a championship?
So, yeah. I think he's good enough. We
Kyler Murray's going to win a championship.
We talk this kind of shit about Stafford.
They are still trying to wash the urine out of his pants from the one playoff game he played.
Stafford went like a decade without winning a playoff game.
Oh my God!
Well, and he never got very high on anybody's quarterback tier either.
Yeah, he never had a clause in his contract that asked him to study more.
Tier 3's a good. All right, can I do my tier 4 now?
Yeah.
This is my game manager. If you
so wait a minute, so did you adjust to Fields then?
I have a different one for Fields.
Okay.
This is my game manager / if you pay them the max, you're going to regret it deal or group. And this is
tier 4.
Tier 4 for me.
Okay.
Goff, Cousins, Tagovailoa, Carr, Daniel Jones, Geno Smith, Ryan Tannehill, Jimmy Garoppolo, and one Russ Wilson.
Okay.
So that's my group of like, wow.
So wait a minute. So when you say
a bad contract group,
when you say pay them a big deal, like what is a disappointment they will give you?
Daniel Jones, 4 years, 160. You're going to be pissed about making that contract for the whole time.
No, but I'm saying I get that, but I'm saying what do they need to be able to give you to get the big money? Because I think that the list you're creating is one based off the money they get paid and who's worth the money you're going to pay. That's how it seems to be shaped.
To make the group, you had to have had team success while things were great. So Goff went to the Super Bowl on a rookie deal. Cousins was pretty good for Washington on a rookie deal. Tua was pretty good last year. Daniel Jones made the playoffs last year on a rookie deal. Tannehill was quite good when he was on backup money in Tennessee. Garoppolo had that weird contract where everything went well and they were in the Super Bowl. Same thing with Wilson. I think all these guys can be good, but once you pay them $40 million a year, you're screwed. That's like kind of my deal with this guy.
So your ranking of their abilities or them as a quarterback is based upon somebody else's mismanagement of their cap funds?
Well, no, their ability is revealed in what happens when people pay them.
Okay.
Like Goff made a Super Bowl and we're all like, oh yeah, he's amazing. And then they pay him and then we see his limitations because you got to take something away. Now, I'm making a projection on a guy like Daniel Jones. I've never seen Daniel Jones play on $40 million a year. I'm guessing it's going to suck.
Right. I hear where you're coming from, but I don't understand why. And I have no problem with Daniel Jones being in tier 4. I actually was shocked when I went back and dug through some of the stuff. 15 touchdowns. I don't want to put that guy where I put him, but that he managed the game. It's exactly what he did for the Giants. We may find out they don't have any idea what a wide receiver looks like, and they jettisoned if Kadarius Toney were to break out in Kansas City, then we'd be like, okay, Daniel Jones is the problem. But I just don't see what the difference is, why Kyler Murray is a tier in front of Jared Goff, and Kyler Murray hasn't produced in the postseason, at all.
You would take, Jeff, would you take Kyler, everything else being equal, would you take Murray or Goff?
I would take Goff. Because I know he's going to do all the right things and work hard and not be a pain in the butt. I think Kyler Murray is a diva. I think he's got people in the building saying he's got to work on being a better leader.
Yeah. There's also
he's short.
There's also the size limitations, how important running the ball is, and he ain't going to run it for as long as Cam Newton ran it for. And so I think there's he's a dynamic, entertaining player. But if I think
Murray,
I'm trading him if I inherit him.
I think Murray's the third best quarterback in the NFC.
Oh,
I think you go Dak, Hurts, and then Murray.
And then can we talk about your allegiance to Dak Prescott? When does he accomplish something to get all this?
Dak is, I know he didn't start every game, but Dak has been the quarterback of 2 12-win teams back to back.
He didn't start all those games. It's very important. He doesn't stay healthy. He hasn't done anything in the postseason, and they have certainly invested in putting things around him. Why doesn't that matter?
Last year they didn't. Last year they let Amari Cooper go. They let Michael Gallup was injured. Dalton Schultz sucked. Like, he did pretty well considering he had one like legitimate target last year.
Well, what about the years he did have many legitimate targets?
Well, you mean the
in the
years
same
he's
place.
led the NFL in yards per pass attempt, or his offense has led the league in
No,
yards
the
per
years
play?
the
Like,
years he hasn't won
those
any
years he was
playoff
pretty
games.
damn good, Petro.
What about the years he hasn't won any playoff games? What about the years it takes him a month to get down the field against the 49ers? And so everybody, it's like a career accomplishment that he got within 30 yards and couldn't get the ball spiked. How about they're going 4 yards at a time in crunch time when you have to push the ball down the field and he still does.
That is why, Petro, in my world, there is a Mahomes tier, there's an almost Mahomes tier, and then there's always something with these guys tier where they're still good, but then Petro's bellying up to the bar to say, why the heck did he have to run that quarterback draw against the Niners with no timeouts? That's why there's this tier, because for every one of these guys, Watson, gestures at everything. Murray's short and loved to play League of Legends. Jalen Hurts, we've only seen it for 1 year. Herbert gestures at everything. Rodgers loves to do psychedelics instead of actually play football. Like, every one of these guys has a problem, and that's why Dak's in that group, and that's why I didn't put them in groups 1 and 2. This isn't a charity. This isn't a nanny state quarterback group. This is a fair quarterback group, a fair assessment of quarterbacks. If you want to be considered elite, be elite. Damn it.
I love it. So I don't even know. Did you just give us? I know you spent a lot of time talking about tier 3 there. You did just give us your tier 4, right?
I gave you guys tier 4, yeah.
Okay, so we got again to go over his tier 4 again. Jared Goff, Kirk Cousins, Tua, Derek Carr, Daniel Jones, Geno Smith, Ryan Tannehill, Jimmy Garoppolo, Russell Wilson. You want the honors on 4 this time, Jeff?
Yeah, mine is fairly quick. These are guys that I think are figuring it out. So they're young guys. They've played a little bit, but they still have some things to show me before I'm able to move them up on my list. Jordan Love is one of those. Brock Purdy is one of those. Probably the toughest one was Purdy. Do I put him in tier 3 or not? I think he could be more than a tier 3 quarterback if what you saw at the end of last year could stretch over an entire season. But I'm with you. I think a lot of his success was timing, supporting cast. I just don't want to go on a limb and get too high on him. Desmond Ridder and Kenny Pickett round out that list.
Desmond Ridder. Eric, your thoughts?
It's funny. I was doing some projections this week because one of the guys that works for me was out, so I had to do the math myself. And Ridder didn't throw an interception last year. It's kind of interesting, huh? I don't like Ridder just because I think he's slow from a processing standpoint. And he's very clearly, his ceiling is tier 4 in my group, where it's like Goff and Cousins and all that, which could be fine. But yeah, it's an interesting take by Jeff. I don't think that the door is closed on him. And I think Atlanta, the easiest schedule in the NFL this year, 1 point easier than the average team on a neutral field. He might pretend this year and look pretty good.
They've already got the formula. Arthur Smith. Look what he did with Ryan.
They're trying to be the Eagles, yeah.
Yeah, run the football, big offensive line, make it easy on the guy. I think he'll surprise people.
Yeah, I'm all right with that. I actually am a little more bullish than some, I think, on Arthur Smith. Maybe not on this panel, if you can call us a panel. But I'm with you. I'm actually a little bit more bullish on what he can do, and I'm intrigued by what he will be. Okay. All right. So my tier 4 are just basically facilitating the game. They can go out there and play the position, and you maybe can develop some guys around them while they're going on because they can spit the play out, get everybody lined up. And that's Ryan Tannehill, Kyler Murray, Gardner Minshew, Mac Jones, and Jacoby Brissett. That's my tier 4. For various.
You're giving the Washington job to Brissett?
No, I do not have Brissett getting the Washington job. I am bullish on Sam Howell, but I'm not going to project him ahead of Brissett. I know what Brissett is, and I think Brissett can line you up. Like I think every team, I think the Bengals, the Chiefs, the Bills, every team that has a true franchise quarterback, however many you want to give them, would love to have Jacoby Brissett as their second quarterback. Love it. Yeah. I think he's like the best backup quarterback in football. The problem is there's really only like 20 starters. So he gets to go start somewhere. But he would be fantastic as a backup quarterback because you can plug him in. A guy like Andy Reid would pare down the game plan, and he would keep you in the game and give you a chance to win. So I'd almost put Jacoby Brissett at tier 3, but I think in managing, I think he's close to being.
You got to stop talking before you start to cross me here on the ridiculously. Like having him in this tier was fine. Then you're like Trump here, and you're going to over.
Well,
you're going to over admit here.
Well, what was the great situation Jacoby Brissett has ever quarterbacked in?
Indianapolis is fine.
What was the great situation he's ever quarterbacked in?
Indy. It's probably was a good situation.
I would, and he did all right.
And he did okay. Yeah, you're right. He's like
so he belongs right where I got him.
He's like a poor man's Kirk Cousins. Good for him.
Okay. All right. So that's our tier 4. Now we go down to tier 5. Eric, I know we're thick on quarterbacks in your tier 5 because we had only 3 guys in the first 4 tiers. So who do you got?
The first 2.
Who do you got?
These are my quarterbacks who have a chance, but I'm not going to crown them yet. Justin Fields, Jordan Love, Anthony Richardson, Bryce Young, CJ Stroud, Kenny Pickett, and Brock Purdy. Kenny Pickett was an interesting one because rookie year, I've never been that excited about him, but I do think he showed me some toughness and stuff in the second half of the year. He's not good. I would, if I had to bet, I'd say he's not good, but I'm at least going to throw him in this I don't know yet tier along with Purdy at the end.
Okay. Again, his tier 5, Justin Fields, Jordan Love, Anthony Richardson, Bryce Young, CJ Stroud, Kenny Pickett, Brock Purdy. All right. Jeff, you went first last time. I'll go first between the two of us. Same people here in tier 5. And that is Anthony Richardson, CJ Stroud. I put this need more information, but I think there's some upside. Anthony Richardson, CJ Stroud, Desmond Ridder, Jordan Love, Sam Howell, Bryce Young, Trey Lance. I think Bryce Young's going to be pretty good, right? I still have hope for Trey Lance. I don't understand how the 49ers could just be moving on from him. And I don't understand, frankly, and I think the 49ers haven't necessarily moved on from him because he would have been traded because somebody should have seen enough to go get him. There are teams that have worse situations than him. But Richardson's kind of a Cam Newton type view to it that he's going to have to be a run threat. I'm not sold on his ability to throw the ball. I do worry about Bryce Young getting hurt, but there's some upside with all these guys. That's my tier 5. Jeff.
My tier 5 is guys who I think are about done, about cooked. Not much hope here. Now, and the guys you just mentioned, they're in my last tier. I could have said, hey, these young guys, move them up. Too early to know what they're going to be. I went the other way because these guys I've seen play. I've seen them have some success, but I also feel like you just can't count on them anymore. Ryan Tannehill, Baker Mayfield, Mac Jones.
Okay. So they're done.
They're done. They're done. I mean, they'll play, but I'm not expecting anything from any of these guys this year.
Okay. All right. That's the tier 5. All right. I think I see where you're coming from. It's the view that at least they can, spit out a play.
Yeah. Yeah. You see, they can do something. Like the other guy, I don't even know. The younger guys you guys mentioned.
All right. Tier 6. This is the lowest tier that you would quantify as what, Eric?
No chance.
That's literally what I call tier 6 as well. No chance.
Mac Jones, Baker Mayfield, Desmond Ridder, and Sam Howell.
How can you have optimism for CJ Stroud, but not for Howell or Ridder?
Yeah.
Because CJ Stroud was the 2nd pick in the NFL draft. Desmond Ridder was a 3rd-round pick, and Sam
so
Howell
the
was a
NFL always
5th-round pick
gets
in
it
a
right.
draft that didn't have any quarterbacks in it.
So the NFL always gets it right.
I'm saying on average, a 2nd overall pick is going to get more deference from me than a 3rd and a 5th-round pick. Yes.
So he would believe in Ryan Leaf right now over Tom Brady's. What he
Tim
saying?
Leaf, Achilles Smith. Not Tim Leaf. Tim Couch.
Joey Harrington.
Yeah, and I'd have more belief exactly. So then when the Chiefs, who's that guy out of yes, I would believe in these guys over players like Ricky Stancy, over guys like who's that terrible quarterback from Georgia? Aaron Murray, Tyler Bray, Petro. Yes, there existed players who have been picked in round 5 who have pissed a drop in this league, but the corpses, the life of Kirk Cousins has been preceded by the corpse of Tyler Bray and Ricky Stancy and You know,
Kirk
guys
Cousins
like
was
that.
a 3rd round pick.
Ritter, yeah.
So he's not really.
Yeah. So Jimmy Clausen was a 2nd round pick.
Dak Prescott was a 4th round pick.
Okay.
Yep. I'm still gonna
right.
make that gamble. If you guys want to gamble me that that Sam Howell is not going to end up in the Pro Bowl someday, then I'll take that bet.
Okay. Sam Howell was like, if you're going to go by pedigree, you go back a year before, Sam Howell, if he came out, probably would have been a 1st round pick.
And Matt Leinart would have been the 1st overall pick in the 05 draft.
Right. Okay. We'll see. I mean, we'll see where it lays out. All right. Tier 6 for you, Jeff.
These are all the new guys. So, guys, I want to wait and see what they do before I'm able to evaluate them fairly. Bryce Young, CJ Stroud, Anthony Richardson, and Sam Howell. I know nothing about Sam Howell except that the Washington Commanders are going to start him. And so that may be the kiss of death. He may end up being the next Kirk Cousins. I don't know. But, I just – these are just guys right now.
Stop me if you've heard this, but the reports out of minicamp are good on Sam Howell. Have you ever heard that before?
Oh, yeah.
Ever heard the
Yeah.
quarterback that nobody thinks much of, and then the team is reporting that he's doing well? Have you ever heard that before?
Never. He must really be tearing it apart.
I am more bullish on Sam Howell. I will tell you, I will stop just short. First of all, a lot of people make the Pro Bowl. Not so much now because they don't actually play the game. When they would play the game, because we know about, Super Bowl guys are out, then 2 or 3 guys beg out hurt. A lot of riffraff used to make the Pro Bowl a quarterback. Sam Howell may act. I'm stopping just short of taking you up on that bet because the odds are way against me. But I actually am a little bit. I'm much more bullish on Sam Howell than you guys are.
Wait a second. You're not going to take the bet because of the reason I gave you that he's in that tier. The odds were against him. That is, yes.
Yeah, with the odds. Well, because I play the odds, but I'm saying if I were to pick a guy that I think like I will. If you want to pick another guy that's like has
Petro,
not really played yet,
I will give you 10-1 odds on Sam Howell not making the Pro Bowl.
10-1.
I will. Yeah, 10 stake
Ever.
Yeah.
Yeah, you already owe me like 3, so why not? Why not? I'm playing with house money. Done.
Yeah, let's go.
Done. I need to write that down.
Look at me yachting steak dinners over here.
Yeah. That's 10 steak dinners. 10 steak dinners. I gotta find a pen.
10-1.
10-1. All right.
We gotta get somebody, some of our listeners. A, we gotta give our listeners a name, and B, we gotta have somebody go back and actually like document how many times we bet against each other. Because so far, I'm the only one that's ever collected. When Jeff and I were at the Super Bowl, and I can't remember the other time, but like, I'm the only one that's won a bet.
Jeff and I have had some wagers. I think I know I won one against him about Chiefs Ravens in 19. This is the only one I can remember off the top of my head. I know I'm like +3 on you though. Easy +3, an easy +3.
FanDuel.com/Petro.
Yeah, sure. There you go. All right. So okay. I am bullish on Sam Howell. We'll leave it at that. All right, tier 6. My tier 6 is the no chance. And there is no chance on Justin Fields. There is no chance on Kenny Pickett. And there is no chance on Baker Mayfield. Now, you can
Justin Fields in the same category as Baker Mayfield.
You can, yeah. I mean, Baker Mayfield went to and won a playoff game against Mike Tomlin and the Pittsburgh Steelers. Right? Do you think
that was a long time ago?
Is Justin Fields going to win a playoff game?
I think he will win a playoff game at some point. He's played on one of the worst teams in the last 10 years. Like that team had no talent.
No shot.
I'm Petro. I know we got to finish the show up, but Sam Howell's got a shot. Justin Fields hasn't a shot. I'm seeing it. I'm not computing it in my mind right now. Like, and I'm not a big Justin Fields guy. I think the Bears, and like, I don't mean to like, Bears fans right now are the most obnoxious fan base in the league. Like, they are the example number 1 for Vikings fans who don't want to tank. For tanking works. This fan base is excited. I don't see it. I don't see Fields being like much better than like a league average quarterback. But to say that Howell has a chance, and then to say Justin,
that's easy. You haven't seen Howell play. We have not seen him go out there and lead an NFL team. You don't know what he is. He might be Brock Purdy. To say Brock Purdy had a shot. Brock Purdy got worse every year at Iowa State and then came out and played great. So we don't know. Sam Howell played good football at North Carolina.
You haven't seen me play like Premier League soccer, but you can make an inference.
Where was Brock Purdy on your list last year?
He wasn't, because he wasn't going to play.
So there's a recent precedent of guys we haven't seen play. I've seen Justin Fields play for 2 years. Like, he's not winning a playoff game. It's not happening. He will not win a playoff game. When he signs on to be the Cowboys' backup quarterback going into the 2025 season, come talk to me.
Find a quarterback room that Soren will hate more than Dak Prescott and Justin Fields.
I don't hate Dak. I just know his limits. And it ain't $45 million a year. That's for sure. All right, there it is. Those are our quarterback tiers. That's going to do it for us here on the Too Deep NFL podcast, proudly brought to you by Gann Asphalt and Concrete. They're hiring for all positions: project managers, truck drivers, operators, crew members. Starting pay up to $30 per hour based on experience, pay time off, and insurance. Just a couple of the benefits you can get. Check out GannAsphalt.com for more information. Gann Asphalt and Concrete, one contractor, all things parking lots. That will do it for us. We will go at it with our coaching tiers next week. That's right, our head coaching tiers. We'll do it in our next one, which will come up around the July 4th holiday. So for Jeff Chadiha from the NFL Network, Eric Eager from Sumer Sports, my name is Soren Petro from Sports Radio 810 WHB, saying thank you very much for joining us here on